All right, guys, so top of the morning, happy 9:10, coming to you live, coming to you well, coming to you from the beautiful city of Visalia, California. I'm doing a keynote this afternoon here, so I'm really excited to be here. Been up since super, super early. Excited to bring a guest into the space. We're going to talk about her in just a moment, but you guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for spending this time with us. And so what we do every single time we do a session, Angelica, is that we have somebody bring us out on the field. This person sets the tones, they set the sentiment, and that person is going to be Cortez. So Cortez, my man, my happy place, be kind. Actually, Cortez is on the phone. You want to go? Cortez, can you bring us out on the field?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear, my man. Let's roll.
I just want to say I'm grateful, and I think that being grateful is just the way to be. It's the way to take action. So, because you don't want to waste none of your time, so I would just urge everyone to be in a state of gratitude and be grateful for our guest speaker today and see what she has to pour into us. And that's all I have.
Well, my man, I appreciate you, and I'll tell you this: I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful for implementation. So Cortez and I have been spending an hour, half an hour to an hour every single week together, and what I've seen him being able to apply in a very short amount of time, it's been really cool to see. So Cortez, I'm going to tell you directly, man to man, human to human. I'm super, super grateful for you and all the things that you're building in your life, man. And just so you guys know, Cortez is having his best year he's ever had. So give him a giant round of applause. Moved in,
Yeah.
There
moved
we
to a new,
go. See, it's not about the market, it's about you.
that's right. Moved to a
Yep.
new
Yep.
city, there, for his daughter and is doing everything. And so, my man, want to send a huge congratulations to you. So, you guys, as we get started,
Thank you.
as you guys know, if you spend any time with me and keep it moving, I'm very particular in a lot of things, but let's just talk about keep it moving. You see, I'm very particular with who I bring into our space because I protect this energy at the highest, right? This energy, this time, our time together, this space, what you guys represent, the collective wisdom, your contributions. I'm very particular with who I bring into this room. I literally could count how many people we've got brought into this space, and it's not many. And the reason why is that this is a very, very special group, and I don't want somebody to come in, pitch us on a bunch of bullshit, walk us through some weak ass strategies, come with some energy that is not correct. I'm not going to allow that in this space. And so we're very particular with who we bring in to keep it moving. And so I'm excited Cameron will be on in just a minute. Thank you, Brady. I'm excited to bring Angelica into our space. And Angelica, you can tell the story on how we met. And I'll let you kind of dive into that. But we did meet in New York at Inman. But there was just something about her energy, her presence, how she carried herself, and then getting to know her a little bit deeper, understanding that her and I speak the same language when it comes to identity, human development, growth, mind, body, spirit, health. Like these are the things that she teaches. This is at the core of what she does and her core competencies. And so her and I align on one true purpose. How can we help the humans in our environment grow at a high level? And so we talked about this. She's like, if I could ever do anything, I said, if I could ever do anything for her. And then we said, you know what? Let's have you come to keep it moving. I wanted her to come to intensity, but that means that she would have had to be up at 4 a.m.
Oh, 3. No, the invite was for 3,
Yeah,
which is
3 a.m. So I figured if we could do this session to be a quick introduction. So you guys, I'm going to have Angelica give her introduction, but listen, let's do a warm welcome. Let's get some emojis on the screen. Let's welcome Angelica into our space, coming to us all the way from beautiful Hawaii. And she's up early for you guys to pour into you to make sure that you take something. So buckle up, take some notes. We're going to keep this thing moving. So Angelica, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. Welcome to Keep It
Thank
Moving
you.
Coaching.
What a beautiful, warm welcome. And thank you guys for showing up. I know that's, the hardest piece a lot of times, just getting here, right? Making the time to invest in yourselves. And thank you to Keep It Moving for having me. Thank you to Elias. So listen, we met in New York in Inman, and we just, like he said, like this shared energy, you just like we are all energetic beings. We just gravitated towards each other, but then New York was kind of crazy. So we really didn't get to talk that much. It was wild. And then that was it. We never exchanged information. And then here I am in San Diego Inman, and I see him and I'm like, wait, I know him. And he's like, oh my, so we start talking, exchange names again, exchange info. His keynote, if you guys have an opportunity, did you share it with them? Did they get to watch it? Oh man.
Some have seen it, some have not.
Okay, well, it was the best keynote I saw at Inman. So I was like, okay, I love him. This is amazing. It was really, really amazing. And I was speaking as well on a panel. So we got to connect there. And like, you know, like you said, we share this really similar energy and similar values of what we teach our people. So I'm really excited to come on and do this topic with you guys today. I know it's a big topic that you talk about a lot as well. It's a big thing. So just a quick background on me. I've been coaching for 15 years. I know it may not look like it. No, I'm just kidding. I've been coaching for 15 years and I've been coaching realtors for the last 7 years. And if you're wondering why the heck does this chick love coaching realtors? I come from a background in pharmaceutical sales. So it's a really similar energy. You guys have a trunk full of signs. I had a trunk full of drugs, but it's the hustle, it's the go, it's the drive, it's the energy. So very similar background. I've been doing sales my entire life. And I just love helping entrepreneurs, especially realtors, perform at their highest level in a healthy, aligned way without the burnout, because we all know so many realtors and so many entrepreneurs get burnt out, right? Okay. So today's top, I had a trunk full of drugs. Yeah, there you go. Elias. Yeah, well, whatever you guys need, but it's just, you know, it's that same like go, go, go type of energy, which is why so many realtors I work with come to me and they're so exhausted. So today I want to talk about identity, when I know that's something you guys talk about a lot. How many times have you said or heard someone say, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it? Raise your hand if you've said that before, felt it before. Yeah, let's be honest. We've all done it. There is a big difference between knowing and mastery. We all know a lot of things, especially in the age of freaking chat GPT and whatever else crazy AI is out there, right? We all know a lot, but knowing and true embodiment and true mastery of who you are at the core are two different things. I know a lot about a lot of things, right? I know a lot about finance, but I'm certainly not, I haven't mastered it. I have a financial planner to handle that piece of my business, right? Maybe a lot of you know a lot about what to eat or how to be healthy, but you still don't feel good and aligned in your body. You haven't mastered that piece. Maybe you know a lot of strategies for your business, right? I mean, I'm sure you don't need more strategies. At the end of the day, it's not typically a strategy problem. It's not even a mindset issue. It's an identity issue. It's who are you being at the core. Does that make sense? Thank you, Ashley. Ashley's like, yes, yes. Okay, so until your identity shifts, and we're going to talk about the 4 phases of identity, until your identity shifts, you're always going to snap back in to what's comfortable, what's familiar. Our brain has our subconscious has 90,000 thoughts in a day. Most of them are repetitive. Most of them are from the day before, and a lot of them are from childhood. So this is why when you try to change pieces of your business or pieces, you know, maybe your health or a part of a relationship, and it's not moving the way you want it to move, it's because you haven't done the deep, deep, deep subconscious reprogramming to make that shift in your identity. Does that make sense? Nod your head. Awesome. So you cannot have, and I love this quote, you cannot have a new reality with an old identity. Too many people try to change pieces of their business or their health, and they're like reverting back to just the old patterns and the old habits. So you'll never be able to shift if you don't change who you are at the core. Often the answer is not in more effort. Sure, you want to work hard. You used to be an emotional eater. I just want to read some of the comments. Yeah, there you go. So used to be, that was the old version of you. You're not anymore. You made that shift, but it takes years. And fun fact, guys, it takes 16 to 18 months for a habit to become part of your lifestyle. It takes 2 to 3 years for your identity to shift. So if you're embarking on, you know, starting a new business, whatever aspect, wherever you are in your business, body transformation, and you're like, oh, I've been doing this for a few months and it's just not hitting. Great. Keep going. Keep freaking going, because that true identity shift will take 2 to 3 years. So give yourself grace, give yourself space and time, and be patient with yourself, because this is like scientifically proven. And that's why so many people start and stop. They go this way in their business, then they revert back. They go this way in their body, and then they revert back, right? I'm sure a lot of you have been there. How many times have you tried to lose weight or tried to do XYZ in your business, and you're like, oh, I do it a little bit, but then I revert back? Raise your hand. We've all done it. Yes, thank you. Okay, so the 4 phases of identity, you can write these down, but we're going to go through them. The first phase is awareness. The second is activation. The third is embodiment. And the last we call mastery, but I also like to call irreversible identity. It's where it is so ingrained in you that you literally cannot turn back. And remember, this takes some time. So at the end of the day, most people think, well, if I just had more strategy, right? If Elias just told me how to get more sales, right? No, it's who you're being, okay? It's not a strategy issue. It is an identity issue, okay? So the first phase is awareness. We will never be able to transform what we cannot name, okay? So the awareness phase is about confronting the ego self. The ego who wants to keep you safe, right? Avoiding rejection, avoiding punishment. These are basic human needs, avoiding abandonment. The ego wants you to belong, right? Be accepted, be loved, be seen, and succeed, right? Approval, achievement, that external validation. So in this awareness phase, you're really fighting against that ego piece of you that wants to keep you safe. So it's like, let's just use weight loss as a really simple example. So many people are like, the enemy turned out to be the inner me. Exactly. You go to embark on a weight loss journey and you're like, okay, I know I need to lose weight. And then you start to make the changes, but your ego is like, but you're so comfortable here and this feels safe and this feels good. Or same thing in trying a new thing out in your business, right? Hey, realtors, you need to make XYZ real, start showing your face more. That's really uncomfortable for a lot of realtors. They don't want to do it. They might do, I coach a ton of realtors. I know, I'm like, let me see your videos. Let's go. Let's look at them. You're uncomfortable. So that ego wants to keep you safe. Okay. So in the awareness phase, you're really fighting with that ego. And the ego, as you guys know, the ego is built for survival. And this is why a lot of people can't even get out of that awareness phase because they're that constant fight with the ego. Okay. So the ego is very invested in familiarity over growth, right? That's safeness, safety over the truth, control over creativity, and really external validation over deep authenticity. So listen, we're all high achievers. We all do this. We love the accolades of I sold this many millions. I made this much money. I achieved all these accolades. And we look for that external validation. And you really have to get real with yourself in this phase to say, who am I on the inside? And I don't need that external validation. But in this awareness phase, it's really that deep fight. And what happens in the awareness phase when you want to shift, your ego panics. You're like, okay, I know I want to do XYZ in my business, or I know I want to change my body or change this relationship, or your ego's like, So there's that fight in the awareness phase, which is why a lot of people get stuck there. Does that make sense? Okay. So your adaptations that were helping you for so long, right? What got you here isn't going to get you there, but the ego doesn't care. The ego doesn't understand that. The ego's like, no, you're going to stay safe. You're going to stay small. What got you here isn't going to get you there. Okay. So next we move into the activation phase. And this is when I like to say when your vision becomes stronger than all the BS excuses. Okay. So we go from awareness, we're aware about the problem, we fight with the ego, we tell the ego, simmer the F down, we're moving into activation. Okay. So activation is when your vision becomes heavier than the excuses. Okay. Activation is really uncomfortable. You will feel a sense of grief. We often talk about grieving the loss of a loved one, grieving the loss of a pet or a friend. We don't often talk about grieving our old selves. And this is part of your identity shift. And it's uncomfortable as F. It is uncomfortable. It is nasty. It is an ego death. It's really uncomfortable. So you're in this activation phase. And it's what I like to call, if you want to write this down, you're going to go through this at certain points, is what I like to call the messy middle. You don't have any evidence of this new version of you, but you know that you want to shift. You know you want to shift the business. You know you want to shift your body. You know you want to shift a relationship, right? But there's no evidence. Yes, grieving yourself is the toughest. We definitely have to grieve our old selves, especially for the identity shift. If you don't make peace with the old pieces of you and let them slip away, it's going to be very hard to move into greater alignment, right? It is, yeah, ego, superego for sure. I do a lot. I had a minor in psychology in college, so I think when I do my mindset goals, I get a little into it. So the messy middle, okay, that's what the activation phase is, okay. And once again, it's not more effort. It's not, oh, Coach, tell me some more strategies. I need to push harder. A lot of you are going to think that. A lot of people think that when they're in the activation phase. But this is all about, who are you being? Who are you being in the face of adversity? Who are you being when the challenges show up? Because that is how your new character and identity are built. Okay? Once again, I'll say it. Most people are going to think, oh, I have a strategy issue. Tell me what to do. This is all about identity. Okay? So that is the activation phase. I've gone through this myself, and I will tell you, it feels unsafe. It feels so uncomfortable, guys. So if you're in it, feel the feelings. Don't try to shove them down. It's almost like an outer body experience. It feels messy. It feels sad. You can feel anger. You'll feel grief. Okay. I just want you to know, like, it's normal to have these feelings. I just want to check the chat and make sure. Yes, I'm glad that it's resonating with you guys, but it's normal to have these feelings. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to set boundaries in this phase. You're going to get uncomfortable. Other people are going to get uncomfortable. You're starting to raise your standards, but things are not shifting enough. Okay. So that's where people may revert back to awareness, because you're like, well, I started to change these things, but I'm not seeing the results. I sat 30 days of open houses and I didn't close a sale. I guess I should just quit. You're starting to make some of the changes and become this new version, but you're not always seeing the results yet. That's why I said in activation, you don't exactly have the evidence yet. You're going to try to show up differently. You're going to feel very exposed. You're going to feel like a fraud in this activation phase because it's not a true piece of who you are yet. You're moving through that identity shift, but these feelings are normal, the uncomfortable, the messy, the grief, the imposter syndrome. This is all part of it. It feels almost like in your nervous system, like danger, but it's actually alignment. Does that make sense? As you go through the shift, yes, it feels like danger, like, oh my God, this is wrong. I need to go back to what I was doing. I need to go back to who I was being. But that danger feeling that's alerting your nervous system is you moving towards greater alignment. It's like how you have to pull back, very uncomfortable, to go forward, right? Sometimes shit just needs to fall the F apart to get to that next level. And that's really what is going on in that activation phase. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, awesome. Just remember that discomfort is not misalignment. Yes, growth is very uncomfortable. Discomfort is not misalignment. I think a lot of people, when they start to get uncomfortable, they want to revert back because they're like, this can't be right. This can't be right. It is. You just have to go with it. Okay. The next phase is embodiment. So now we're moving into, it's more, I want to go back to one thing with awareness. This is where a lot of times people will self-sabotage, because remember I mentioned the danger. A lot of times people will start to make the excuses and self-sabotage and fall back because it feels that uncomfortable and because your ego is craving that safety and certainty. So it's really a choice every day, like have that inner conversation with yourself as you're going through your transformation, as you're going through your identity shifts, to tell that ego to calm the F down, because it's going to keep doing the same things over and over to try to protect you. Yes, discomfort is not misalignment. Love it. Okay. So in your activation phase is really going to require you to have deep faith over familiarity. Deep faith. So whatever you believe in, whatever faith you practice, neither here nor there, but really that deep faith in yourself over that, oh, this is so comfortable, this is so great. You have to let that go. Okay. Remember that you don't get to keep doing the current things you're doing to get next level results. What got you here isn't getting you there, right? Okay. So embodiment is where alignment takes place. It is where your actions are aligning with your core values. What you say is what you do, and it's starting to become a piece of you, okay? You're not chasing anymore. It's feeling more light. It's, if I could think of words to describe, it's feeling more light, feeling more free, feeling more flowy. You're moving out of that messy middle where you felt like literally my life is falling apart. My business is falling apart. My relationship is falling apart. Everything's falling apart. You're like, okay, I'm coming to the other side. I'm seeing the light of this, right? But the embodiment phase is going to test you to hold your standards and hold the line. And what I mean by hold the line is living in true, full body, full energetic alignment with the new identity you're desiring. Okay. So there's not wavering there. Whereas before in awareness and activation, you'd say, well, maybe one day you do this, but then you revert back, or you stay on point for a few weeks, but then you revert back to the old version of you. And there was some self-sabotage. When you move into embodiment, it's asking you to hold the line and show up no matter what, when no one is clapping, without the external validation, when the money isn't flowing yet. You just did all these open houses, you just went to all these things, you did all these things, or you're doing all these things for your body, but nothing is shifting, it's not moving fast enough. You still hold that line, you still hold those energetic standards no matter what. Because you know what you want, you know your desires, and you know who you want to be in this next level version of you. You hold the line when your ego creeps in and says, well, maybe you should just go back to XYZ. Well, maybe you should do XYZ. You did good at that. Or don't worry, you don't need to do those workouts, or you don't need to meditate. You did it one day this week. No worries. Hold the line no matter what. This is often the time in the embodiment phase where people will lower the standards to avoid more discomfort. Like 300 Roman soldiers. There you go. Hold the line. Exactly. Picture that. But this is often the time. So can you consistently hold that energetic line when it's inconvenient, when it's lonely, when it's hard?
Did she freeze for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angelica, you are frozen. All right, we'll give it a second just to check the audio and make sure she can get reconnected. And she's gonna hate it if I take a picture of her right now. Of her holding the line.
I don't know about
So-
you guys, but I'm ready to run through a wall right now.
Yeah,
Let's go.
absolutely. All right, cool.
I
So
was
I don't
gonna
know.
skip the gym, and now I'm like, I'm going to the gym right now.
Yeah, and you know what? As she logs back on, there was something that, as we get her back on the screen, saying goodbye. Like there's a lot of us that we truly, truly love, probably, but it is not congruent with where we want to go and what we want to become. And so having to say goodbye to certain parts of yourself that maybe you've liked at certain times, or maybe you've really obviously you've grown so fond of how that person is, but the next version of you, the next version of Laura Franco, has to say goodbye to that person. I saw something yesterday. In order for you to grow, somebody in us needs to die. And I believe that with certainty. Sometimes we got to say goodbye. And it also happens in our relationships as well. As you grow, as you start to develop, you're going to have to say goodbye to certain relationships because they want to hold on to the old Elias. They want to hold on to the Jeff that they used to know. But as you grow, your circle will get smaller and you'll start to find yourself in different relationships. So Blessing, let's go to you, and then anybody else has a conversation until Angelica
I'm
gets.
back.
Okay,
I'm back.
she's back on. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
This is Welcome to Living in Maui. All of a sudden, my internet just goes out and I hotspotted. Okay, we're good. So I'm
Really quick, Angelica, Blessing, table what you have because I know we will be good.
Okay.
We're going to
Yeah.
come back to Blessing afterwards for Q&A.
Sure.
We'll
We're
see
good. It
the-
was just the final piece, so we're good. Yeah, Q&A. Let's go for sure.
No, you got all the time in the world. Okay, keep
Oh,
rolling.
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the last phase is the irreversible identity. Sorry, guys, this is so weird. And like I said, this is the version that can't be done. This is when it is so ingrained in you that you can't revert back. And I'll just use myself as a quick example. 15 years ago, I lost 40 pounds of weight. I was always overweight my whole entire life, overweight, acne, depressed, horrible. Finally lost the weight. And once I decided to make that change, I never looked back. I knew I never wanted to go back to that version of me. And I've kept it off for this long because I am a new person. The habits that I have now, walking, going to the gym, meditating, eating how I want to eat, it's just ingrained in me. I don't think about it. And that's really the level I want you guys to get at in your health, with your meditations, in your life, in your business, where you just do the things. It's a piece of you. You don't even think about it. That is mastery. That is the irreversible identity. It is literally ingrained in you in a cellular level. I remember you're going to go through you're going to go through this many times in your life. So you may have irreversible identity and be mastery in your business, but maybe not with your body, or maybe vice versa, or maybe not in your relationship. So in different ways, it shows up in different areas in your life, but that irreversible identity is earned through deep repetition, integrity, pressure over and over again. We're talking years. That's why I said it can take years to really get to the point where you're like, oh, this is me, and there's no looking back. Okay. You just are. You're not pushing, you're not proving, you're not shooting yourself. You just are. You are just being. Does that make sense? It sounds so simple, and obviously it takes a lot of time, but that's really what it is. It's where you're able to hold strong boundaries without guilt. Say, no, I don't need this. This isn't on my energetic level, right? So many of us, we feel bad for saying no, or we feel bad we can't do this. So you once again, you hold the line to the next level, okay? You're attracting opportunities without chasing. You don't need to prove. You don't need to should yourself. Your energy is aligned and it's not leaky. When you're in the other phases, when you're in awareness and when you're in activation, you're leaking a lot of energy because you're not standing in your power yet, right? I said it's the messy middle. It's uncomfortable. You're grieving that old self. You're not fully standing in your power. When you get to irreversible identity, you own it. It's you. That's it. We're not looking back. Okay. So those are the phases. Okay, good. I stayed on time. 30 minutes, we're good. So I'd like to open up to questions, if anyone has anything to say. But yeah, those are the 4 phases of identity. I teach this a lot in my program. And what I realized over the years, as much as I could coach people in their health and their businesses, at the end of the day, if they don't change who they are at the core, nothing changes, right? So we really have to work on who we're being, because it's not just about strategies, it's about the energetic and who you are at the core.
Man, there's so many things that we could talk. Like, this has been a theme of our conversation. Any mastermind groups I'm in, any coaching, we've talked about this in depth in this group. And it takes me back to the quote that I put into the chat, and I want to share this, and I'm bringing it up on my screen because there's obviously congruency. The reason why Angelica's here is no surprise. Whatever you believe in, the universe, faith, whatever's pulling you, whatever's your higher calling, your higher power, whatever it is, I feel that that's why we're here. We're aligned on a greater purpose. And so I saw this, and I've shared this with you guys in the past, but you can't outperform your self-image. Whatever picture you hold of yourself inside, your life will find a way to live it out externally. If you believe you are broken, then my friends, you will break things. If you believe you are not enough, you will shrink in every single room that you walk into. But if you believe you are powerful, capable, and worthy, then you'll build a life that truly reflects that. And what I love about this is that in order for us to build this empire that we all want to build in life, business, health, and relationships, oftentimes we have to break down, we have to dismantle, we have to demolish the person that we were before. You guys have done the work myself, and I'm going to open the mic up to you guys. There was a time where I wasn't a man of discipline, of purpose. I didn't have values that I truly believed in. I wasn't acting in congruency with the words that I was saying, and it took some time. And when she said 2 to 3 years, my life has vastly changed in the last 2 to 3 years. Some of you guys have experienced my own personal growth in the last 2 to 3 years of us working together. And so, like, the things that you're saying, I think about 2 to 3 years, like, damn, that's a long time. But is it? Is it, in order for you to live a life that you're truly happy about, to have an identity that you're proud of, something that you are no longer white knuckling through this beautiful thing called life? White knuckling means that we have to contrive things. We're forcing things. We're forcing.
That's the leaky energy, right? That's the leaky energy, the pushing, the force. Like, yeah, that's where the energy leaks out. And that's why people get so drained. So
yeah,
exactly.
Angelica, I love this. I'm actually doing a talk today. It's called flow state. And we've talked about creating what we believe to be our flow state. Well, you don't get in flow state unless you have a true awareness of your identity and you've done the deep work. And so
Totally.
I'm going to open up to you guys. I'm sure you have some thoughts, feedback, contribution. Let's make sure that we utilize this time. Don't be shy. Whatever question you have inside, I want you to
don't be shy. I'm
link
an open
to
book too.
Angelica and ask your questions. And so, does anybody have blessing? I'm going to go back over to you. Do you have some questions, thought? Let's go to David first, and then we'll go to blessing. Whoever else wants to ask questions, get some dialogue going. Let's roll. David, what do we got, big dog?
Hey, thank you for talking. How do you get to your new self without, let's say you love parts of your old self, but how do you remake your new self without losing some of the parts you like in your old self?
You bring them with you. So this isn't about totally demolishing who you are, right? When I've gone through my ego death and my transformations, in fact, I'm going through one right now, to be honest with you. This story for another day. But there are pieces of me that I want to take with me, right? But then
Right.
there's definitely some parts of my identity that I need to let go of. So you're not demolishing these great aspects of you. You're taking them with you and you're deciding what no longer serves me. And there's definitely some journal reflection questions that I'd love to give you guys. So I'll shoot them over to you and you can email out to the crew. Cause that way you could, this is a good topic to definitely reflect on. So I have about 8 questions that, I gave to my tribe when we did this and they found it really beneficial. So some of those questions will help you too, David.
Yeah, Angelica, I'm really glad you said that because David, there's probably some things about yourself that you really like, your energy, the way that you show
Yeah.
up, your care, your tenacity, your humor. Like those are
Yeah.
things that are never going to go away, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
Never going to
Yeah.
go away.
But then it's important to sit with yourself and be like, okay, I love these things, but what pieces of me do I want to burn down? Really, what pieces of me are holding me back?
God, I love that. Let's go Oliver, then we'll go Blessing, and then Patrick. You had some really good contributions in the chat down below. So did you, Vernon. So did you, Ashley. Would love to get your guys' thoughts. So let's go, Oliver. What do you got?
Angelica, thanks for that. So a question, when you're already, putting in the work, you're pretty, serious, you're doing everything you think you should be doing, how do you still identify your true self? Like you're taking action and all that, it does not necessarily mean you have found your true self. So what are some paths to actually find your true self, to really be in alignment?
Do you meditate?
I started, but it was too hard for me, so I stopped.
Yeah, in my opinion, the only way to really find your true self and connect with your true self is to sit in silence and get to know who you are in those silent moments. Because if you just, when you first started talking, you said, I'm doing. Everything you said was, I'm doing. You said nothing about I'm being. Who are you being in the quiet moments? Who do you want to be? And for me and in my coaching, the way I teach my clients to do that is really learning to sit with themselves in the silent moments when all your thoughts are coming through. That's how you get to know yourself. It could be in nature, it could be through meditation, but those silent moments with yourself is how you get to know who you truly are. Because if you're constantly doing, you're keeping your brain really busy and it's really hard to connect to the inner version of you, your true authentic self. Because we can hide in massive, I do this, I'm a realtor, I'm a coach, I'm a dad, I'm a this. That's not who you are. That's not who you are deeply. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you nailed
Meditation,
it.
I just want to say something about meditation. I've been meditating for 8 years. I'm from New York. I'm so high strung, type A, if you guys couldn't tell. When I first started meditating, I'm like, this is an effing joke, okay? I did 3 minutes. I was like, hell no, I'm not doing this. Then it got to 5, then it got to 10. Now it's 30 minutes a day. So you're not bad at it. Just give yourself the grace, the space, the time. Even if you sat for 3 minutes with the timer and all your thoughts were running crazy, it's still good for you. And that's how you're going to get to know you on a deeper level.
Yeah, I love it because that's actually the one thing that I tried and I was not able to keep doing because it was too difficult for my brain. So it makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so you're in the awareness phase of meditation. Like, this is new. I don't know what I'm doing. Now you're aware, right? Perfect. Love that.
Angelica, I really like this. Love this conversation. Oliver, I just dropped a book recommendation, Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. It's a really good book. It's a really good book. But it's important that as much time as we schedule for the active and the action and in our business and in production, like, where's the you time? Where's the reflection time? Where's the candle time, the music time, the lofty jazz, to sit there with your own thoughts, to really like unpack our week. Like, we need to create a sense of poise and ease in our life. But what we do is we go at such a rapid pace. And the last thing we do is just sit there in stillness.
This is what yeah. And it's so hard for realtors, especially, but this is a big piece of my program too. Breath work, meditation. We teach that because it doesn't need to be long, guys. It doesn't need to be 30 minutes. Start with 5. Okay. I just want to say we could do meditation, another topic. I'll come back.
I love it. Angelica, we're going to go over to Blessing, and then we're going to go over to Patrick. We're going to go to H-Bomb, and then Vernon and Evangeline. I want you guys' contributions as well. Let's go, Blessing. What do we got for him?
Well, thank you so much, Angelica. Like, this is really, really powerful. I had more of a comment that we were talking about saying goodbye to your old self. At any given moment, you'll realize that the version of yourself that it took to get to the point that you are no longer serves who you're going forward if you're constantly in transformation. So there's always a point of like letting go and releasing, and you only have those realizations when you can be still. Like I'm right now in the midst of being still and slowing all the way down. Like I had 5 jobs at one point this year. It's like, why,
Wow.
what am I, why do I need to be so busy is a question that comes, like, especially when you're in that activation phase of like figuring out who you are. And
Right.
why are you busy? If everything's supposed to be an attraction, it's supposed to be you showing up as you, that's never going to feel like a clawing, a scraping, a trying to make
Exactly.
things work.
Exactly.
To sit and flow, to be still is the scariest part of it, because
So
you do
hard.
have to confront
Yes.
you have to confront those fears that you have hidden and buried so deep that you're not even aware of anymore. But in that space is really where it's like the magic of exactly who you are and how your business is going to move
That's
forward.
where the
So
magic happens. I love that.
it is.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love this conversation, and it is so necessary, but and especially in the go of the day, we often feel like we can't slow down, but we have to in order to even show up as our best selves for the room, for our clients, and to move forward. So thank you for the conversation.
Yeah. Beautiful. So beautifully said. And it's the slowing down, it's the silence, it's sitting in that's highly uncomfortable. And like I said, all the realtors I coach have at some point been burnt out. Don't let yourself get to that level. Take the 5 minutes to breathe, to do box breathing in your car, to sit with the uncomfortable thoughts, to do what you need to do, because that's how you get to the next level. You don't get to the next level by burning yourself into the ground
That's
and
right.
forgetting who you are along the way. Right. But
Blessing.
then, yeah, Blessing, that was, and I feel what you're feeling, because I'm, like I said, I'm going through it too. And it's uncomfortable confronting those thoughts and letting those pieces go, but good for you.
I think at the, what's hard for a lot of us is to listen to our own thoughts, to our own emotion. And what we do is we go. We're busy. We got the kids' homework. And then we finally sit down, we have a glass of wine, we look on our phone for 20 minutes, we pass out, and then we repeat that cycle again. You see, when are we actually scheduling that time and reflecting? And you
Needs
guys,
to be
we
in your
need
calendar. Yeah. Needs to be
totally,
in the
we need to
calendar,
do
just like
more
anything
of that.
else.
Yep.
Calendar your meetings with yourself. Calendar your meetings with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Hamster wheel, Laura, just put that in there. So really good stuff. Let's go, Patrick. Patrick, you had some really good thoughts and takeaways in the chat. Then we'll go Evangeline, H-Bomb, we'll go to Vernon. Let's go, Pat.
Oh, for sure. And then I just want to say I appreciate your time, Angelica, and appreciate the words. This is on mark of what I'm going through right now. I said in the comment, my gauge of success shifted from external recognition to internal appreciation, and it was literally the best thing that ever happened to me. I stopped comparing my success. It's so easy to compare your success with other people's kind of success,
Totally.
right?
Especially in the world we live in today, social media, like every 2 seconds, it's like, oh, look at them. Oh, look at them. And it's really hard to not.
Yeah. So demotivating sometimes, and sometimes that could be the thing that breaks your faith. But the shift that, and I love that you touched on the higher purpose, because I think the biggest shift on my side as well is aligning myself with a higher purpose. It's not that I'm just doing this for myself for money, and it's not just my family. I align myself with, I want to motivate young people. I want to go ahead and be that leader for something, a higher goal instead of just this really short-term narrow mindset. And I think and you really got to believe in it. And so I really appreciate you touching on that.
And that's what creates that identity. That's where you'll have the irreversible identity, because your purpose is so grand and so high, and you're so deeply connected to it that you move through those phases a little more quicker with the connection to that. You know what I mean? So that's really, really beautiful. And that's not easy to do. And remember, there's going to be those ups and downs, because it's easy for us as high achievers to look for that external validation. That is something I will probably struggle with till the day I die. Right. And that comes from subconscious programming when we're children. This comes from my parents telling me, you got to get straight A's. You got to get A's. If you don't get an A, then it felt like I didn't get love, right? I'm sure a lot of you dealt with that. And this is why we're programmed the way we are today, because of things that our parents said to us, right? So we go way back, but that's beautiful. Thank you. I love that you made that shift.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Patrick. Let's go over to Evangeline. Evangeline, you had some really good stuff in the chat, and thank you. Anybody else that wants to throw their hand up, feel free to. We got some time. We did this by design to give you guys time to share your thoughts, ask questions, give insight. Let's go, Evangeline.
Yeah, Angelica, thank you again for sharing. This was fire. Definitely needed it this morning. What I was sharing is like when you're saying to like hold the line, I don't think that's like actually an option for us. Like you're kind of, once you start that activation period, that's what I put in the chat, is like you have to hold the line because the previous self isn't there. You already got the ball rolling, right? Because I was sharing how real estate wasn't really going the way that I wanted, even though I put say a year of work into it, whatever it was, and I was trying to go back to corporate tech sales, and I could not get a job for the life of me. Tons of interviews back to back, getting to the final point, internal applications, all that stuff that should warrant getting a job, and I could not. And I look back now as I'm seeing some movement in my business, some success, some wins, and it's just like that was just not meant for you, because you already started the activation.
Yeah, the universe is like, the universe will always give you your answers. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Even though, like now that you're looking back and you're like, okay, yeah, maybe you knew that in that kind of messy middle, but you were like, I know, I need to make money, I need to do this, right? But the universe was like, the universe will always push you in the direction that you need to go, and even if it's highly uncomfortable.
Yes, and I just wanted to share with the group too, in terms of meditation, there's this free 10-day retreat. It's called Vipassana. It really shouldn't be called a retreat because it's hard work. I went there. If someone has 10 days to step away from their business, it's a great thing. It's free. I went, and like, it's insane when we don't have distractions from our phone. Like you can't have your phone. You don't even speak. You can't even look at each other.
Silent meditation.
Yeah, the amazing things that pop up, business ideas, self-aware. Like I feel like your third eye's just open. So just wanted to share.
Vipassana is amazing. Even if you could find a 1-day Vipassana, 10 days is extreme. Kudos to you. I haven't even done that yet. But if you could find a 1-day Vipassana in your area, I've done that here in Maui. Like Evangeline said, beautiful name, by the way. No phones, nothing. You just show up with yourself and you just literally meditate. There's sometimes they do a little bit of like movement, but you have no distractions, and talk about clearing your mind and clearing your soul and clearing your energetic frequency. It is amazing. So yeah, you could even start with the 1-day. There's like 1-day silent retreats, they're called. Yeah.
Love it. Really good stuff as always, Evangeline. I'm gonna go over to Vernon, then we'll go to H-Mom. Vernon, what do you got for us? Any thoughts, feedback, and conversation, or excuse me, insights on the conversation?
Elias, thank you for bringing Angelica into the space. I know personally how particular you are about who you invite to pour in.
No pressure.
Yeah, there's pressure to perform.
He knows at eye level.
This is a hard line in terms of access to this group. So Angelica, man, thank you. Thank you for your authenticity. And, you know, I'm a breather. So as a breather, the breath coach, having breath work sessions basis and the meditator on a regular basis, you know, there were some things that really landed with me. And probably the most prominent is the power of being as opposed to doing or thinking or acting, but being, right? So change is constant and none of us are perfect, as it changes, you know, evolution is a constant thing. To be content with self, irregardless of what's happening in the world, relationships change, some fall off, you gain new relationships, directions that we think that we're going in because we make the plans, but God determines the outcome. And so when we're looking at it from that, oftentimes we can get caught in the doing and forget to just be in existence and be content with that. Be cool with not being perfect. Be okay with making be cool with whatever that looks like, but not being moved by anything external and being content with where you are and who you are and who you're becoming, and let that be enough. That's where the money is. And so thank you for that.
Extremely beautiful. And having that trust in yourself, the trust and the faith. So so beautiful. Love that you're into work and meditation. That's a big part of my life and my program too. So I saw you shaking your head a lot during when I was talking. I was like, okay, Vernon, Vernon is feeling this.
Speaking my language 100%.
That's right. That's right. Really, really good stuff, Vernon. Always powerful takeaways. Let's go, Heather. I know you're on your walk right now, getting her 6,000 steps. So we run an
There we go,
accountability
Heather.
group.
Get those steps in, girl.
Angelica, we
Thank
run an
you.
accountability group. It's called Intensity. No excuses, no bullshit results, only the high level accountability group, highest level accountability group. And part of their daily activity is to do 6,000 steps no matter what, or else they'll get striked out of the program. And she's on her steps right now. I love it. So Heather, what do you got for us?
Oh, love it.
I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Everything you were saying just really resonated on like a really deep level. I'm over here on my walk, like, yes, this is awesome. And you know, we learned so much about growth and inner growth, growing our business. And sometimes you just got to take those key phrases or those key points. And so, like, holding the line, I was like, yes, I'm just going to repeat that in my head. Hold the line, you know, on those days where you just want to literally take everything off your desk
Blow it
and
up.
like, yeah, and just throw it onto the floor and walk away and say, screw this, because, you know, implementation and learning and growing is so difficult. It's maddening finding the balance between life and professional, you know, growth and building yourself. It's extremely difficult and painful. So it's just like, I'm just gonna hold that in my brain, hold the line, you know.
Good. Hold the line and trust, you know, in the hardest times, I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time. I've wanted to burn my business down multiple times. I've shed pieces of me. I've gone through all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So feel free to reach out if you're feeling that. It's hard, right? But holding that line and trusting that you're on the right path, that's what it's about. Right. And that's where meditation has really helped me too, because you can connect to higher source, God, whatever you believe in, and knowing that the universe is supporting you on those rough days. That's important to remember.
Yeah,
Love it.
well, meditation, definitely. It's something that I'm not good at because the brain doesn't stop. So I like that you grew to 30 minutes. It was 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Clearly, we need to do a meditation call. We're going to do a meditation call.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that another time for sure. I think that would be definitely impactful for this group and, you know, for me personally. So Heather, I appreciate your contribution. Let's go to Dominion, and then David, you'll be the last takeaway, and then we'll start to wrap session. Dominion, what do you got for us, big dog?
Good morning. This conversation just reminded me of a book I just finished last week, Living in Wisdom by Debbie Brown. It talks a lot about just showing up for yourself and again, being your authentic self, being that self. But what I really took away from Angelica today, because I'm reminded of this a lot when I'm doing that self-talk, is it's not even a choice to revert back to what I once was. Like, you think that's the easier thing to do, but try doing it. Like Evangeline said, I tried looking for these jobs in my old field and it just didn't work out. The universe will not let us easily revert back to that. Now, you can try, but it's not going to be easy. Like, try going back to the same company that you worked at once before. The second time around, it's not going to be as good as it was the first time around. So I really appreciate you saying that about just leaning into what you're cultivating and those positive things that you found in yourself, and just keep going even through the hard days, because we're all going to have them, especially in the sales business. You're going to have days where you question yourself, you question what your involvements are, but your better mind knows that you've grown and come this far for a reason. So just keep going and push past that uncomfortable part. But I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, really beautiful. Yeah, it's as uncomfortable it is to grow and sit in, you know, to move forward, it's even worse to revert back. It's not going to feel good. So remember that too. Like, ask yourself, do I really want to go back to this old version of me? Definitely not. You know, you'll ask yourself that question on the way there.
To me, I'm so glad that you said this. I remember when, you know, Kenny and I started working together 5 years ago. We've been working together for 7, but since we came to EXP, like, I left the salary, $140,000, $150,000 a year, you know, the guaranteed benefits and the 401k and, you know, the nice corner office and the big, you know, beautiful building, all those things. And I left all that super scared to walk into a new opportunity to be where we are today. And I think about where I am and how clear I am on my vision. I know nothing else in this world that I want to do. I know nothing else in this world that I would do. Like, I am so clear, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I don't, what a fucking resume. What would I do right now? Like, I see no other way. I'm so like focused on the impact that I'm making in this world, in this business, man, I see no other way. I don't even know what I would do. Like apply for a pharmaceutical position or text it. I don't fucking know what
Right,
I
I was
would
gonna
do.
say, like, when I go back to pharmaceutical sales, when you make that decision to go off on your own, when you have a bigger mission and vision, yeah, we really cannot go back. But I feel you too, because I left a cushy multi-six-figure pharmaceutical sales job, penthouse apartment on the beach in Long Island, New York, benefits, vacation, this, that, to basically start from nothing,
Yeah.
nothing,
And look at
right?
you now. Look at you now. So David, we're gonna go to you and then we're gonna start to wrap sessions. So David, what do you got for us? Last contribution.
Okay, I have one more question because I'm the biggest procrastinator and it got me through like school and everything, writing papers, wait till last minute, you write it. But procrastination and real estate don't mix. So is procrastination like the ego trying to protect oneself from like failure or
Yeah, procrastination is one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage. So
okay.
I'll add that to one of the journaling questions, but you really need to sit with yourself. I've self-sabotage is common in all of us. We all do it in certain ways. How is the self-sabotage serving you? How is it helping you?
It's not.
Right. So, and the things we put off when we actually do them, they're easier. The longer we put it off, the what we resist persists. So the more you keep procrastinating whatever you need to do in your business, in your life, the more resistance you're creating. And the more resistance you're creating, the harder it becomes for you. Right. So you already are in the awareness phase. You're aware that you're a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Now you need to sit with yourself and you need to reflect, how has it served you in your life? Like, try to write out a page of that, because I guarantee it hasn't. Right.
Mm.
And and then the future version of you, how is it going to serve you to not be a procrastinator? What does your life look like in your business, in your health, in your relationships, right? Future visioning when you don't procrastinate. So you do a negative reinforcement and a positive. If I keep procrastinating, my life looks like blank, blank, blank. My business looks like blank, blank, blank. When I don't procrastinate, I make this much money in my business. I feel like this in my body. I XYZ. Get real with yourself though. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it is procrastination is the highest form of one of the highest forms of self-sabotage. So this, like, if I was coaching you, we'd go back to things that happened in your childhood, subconscious programming. Where does this come from? This comes from something that happened very early on in your life that you keep doing this to yourself.
Yeah.
So maybe sit with that.
Really cool. Really good question. Good question, David. I think what we do oftentimes, and we've talked about this, and if you haven't got the book, The Science of Scaling, Ben Hardy, I want you guys to get that book.
Great
So
author.
when we think about time, what we do is we allow too much time for us to complete certain projects. I believe that we need to minimize the amount of time that it takes for us to be able to do whatever project it is and leave no room for that. What we do is, as realtors, we give ourselves too much time to complete these tasks. And in the book, it talks about when JFK talked to NASA and said, this is our goal, to land on the moon within 10 years. Well, 90% of the work was done in the last 2 years. The 8 years prior, it was just kind of like diddle-daddling and trying new things and testing out certain things, but they didn't really need all of that time. Could they have launched the project in 5 years? Could they have launched it in 3 years? And the answer was absolutely yes. And so we have to think about, how do we condense these things that we want to do so we don't have room for procrastination? You want to do something, you say, Elias, I want to do it by next week. I want to push up against you, bro, and say, do it by tomorrow. What actions would be different if you did it by tomorrow? What would the focus be? What are the decisions that you would make right now if you only had until tomorrow to complete the project? And so what we do is we give too much time, and oftentimes that time and that procrastination is the thief of our progress. And so anytime you guys are setting out doing something in business, you guys need to reduce the amount of time and say, what if this impossible timeline, what if I did in an impossible timeline? What would I do differently? How would I show up differently? How would I behave differently? So, David, really good question. You guys, I want to share this with you. I've been sharing this with you guys over the last couple of weeks, but I don't want you to be afraid of your own power. You see, when you're getting yourself in a clear identity, when you can get into your full power, no longer do we have fear. We don't have the victim excuses, or excuse me, victim mentality. No more excuses, no more distractions, no more sleeping on our skills. Your own power forces you to show up differently in the world, and it may be scary, but I promise you guys, there's so much in each of us that hasn't even been unlocked yet. There's so much more, there's new levels. And so in order for us to do the big work in our business, in order to do this big growth, we have to do inward. So we've been talking about this great lock-in. That great lock-in should be us starting to go internally first. Internally, in order for us to have all the external things that truly, truly we desire having in our life. And so, Angelica, you guys can see why I brought her here. A lot of the same things she says, we've been speaking about here. She brings a different light, a different energy. And so I'm excited to, do more projects with you. You guys, would you find it helpful if I brought Angelica back in the future to do another session with us? The votes are in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think topic requests would be, good too. Send me a DM or like from in the chat. I would love to do one on meditation, really teaching you a little bit behind it, taking you guys through on. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of different types of meditation as well. And I've heard a few of you say, I'm not good at meditation. I can't quiet my thoughts. But one of the key things that has helped me grow my business is learning how to meditate.
I love it. So listen, thank you for being here. If there's anything I can do on your end, I feel that we speak the same language. We're kindred spirits. But you guys, thank you for being here.
Thanks for your presence and participation.
Yeah, it means the world to me. You guys know that. So thank you. We're going to connect soon. And as always, you guys, as always, keep it moving toward your dreams, goals, and vision. And make today a day that truly matters. Peace, everybody.
Hold that line. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.